Hey guys, welcome. We are just doing a 10-minute mobility flow this morning. So good for active recovery days. We're focusing full body. We're doing mobility instead of that static stretching. So we're moving through motions, increasing our flexibility, that range of motion, all those good things, and loosening up those joints and muscles. So we are going to start, we're going to do 10 different moves, I think 10-ish, and we're going to do each one for about a minute each. If you get done the 10 minutes, you want to do more, start from the top and flow through each exercise again, okay? So we're going to come down onto our hands and knees to start, and we're going to start with our cat-cow, okay? So we are placing our knees under our hips, hands under shoulders, and we're going to breathe and go at our own pace here. So as we exhale, we're rounding that back, and then on the inhale, we're digging into that lower back, bringing that gaze forward, working on spinal and hip mobility here. So nice big inhale and then big exhale. Big inhale and just kind of flow at your own pace here. My watch is dead, so we're using my phone over here. So don't mind if I keep peeking out and moving it. Big inhale, reducing some of that stiffness. Nice flow, slow movement. Next, we're going to move into those open books. So we're going to come down onto our side. And again, you can grab a pillow or a yoga block to put in between your knees if that feels better for you. One more. So we're coming down onto our side next. Our hands are together. And then on that inhale, we're going to open that hand or open that chest all the way to the other side. And then we're going to close it. And we're going to go for a minute on this side. So a big inhale, and then we exhale and close. So working on the mobility in that middle back here. I'm only stopping my arm here. I don't know if you're watching because it's hitting this box. You should be opening that chest all the way to the floor and then coming back to center. And just slow, gentle movements here, focusing on that breathing. If you can hear that popping, it's my floor, not my back. There's not something wrong with me. There's just a really creaky spot in my floor right here. One more, awesome. We're gonna get up, we're gonna come over to the other side, and we're gonna do the same thing on that opposite side. So laying with those knees stacked over each other. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Nice big open all the way. Feeling that opening in that chest, in that shoulder. We've got that rotation in that mid back and that spine, and then coming back together. As we inhale, expand those ribs. Think about that 360 breath. A great 10-minute routine to add into your mornings. Like, yeah, like I have time for an extra 10 minutes in the morning. But you could get up, just set that alarm 10 minutes early, roll out of bed in your pajamas to your yoga mat, and just incorporate some of these moves. You don't even have to do the full minute. Maybe let's hit every exercise for like 30 seconds, turn it into 5 minutes of mobility, just something to wake up that body in the morning, relieve some of that tension, that stiffness, that soreness. Keep going. Few seconds left, and we're gonna go next into some hip flexor rock backs. So let's put that right knee forward, and we are gonna rock deep into that low lunge, and then just come back. So inhale as we sink, and come back. So each time the goal is to go a little bit deeper into that hip flexor. You can even take it back all the way to that hamstring stretch if you want to add that in there as well. A lot of us have some pretty tight hamstrings, which can lead to lower back pain. It can lead to our posture being off and getting that like clenched butt, flat butt, or flat butt look. So we can really work on lengthening those hamstrings. That's really going to help with that pain in our posture. And then we're opening up that hip flexor here, which is another cause of lower back pain. And it's likely we all have some tight can't talk today, hip flexors. Again, like I've said, when we're sitting a lot at our job, at our desk, whatever we do, if that job makes us sit a lot, these get really tight here. And then we're going to skip over to that other side. So left leg forward, sinking nice and deep into that stretch. And either just rocking back to here and then going a little bit deeper, or we can rock back all the way to that hamstring stretch. Nice deep breaths. And we're going to continue to work on our hips next. So we're going to go into those 90-90 switches. Awesome. A few more here, guys. Perfect. Next, we'll come into those 90-90 switches. So we're coming to a seated position. We've got that 90 degree in this leg, 90 degree in that leg. I'm going to start this way. We're going to try to keep that torso up as tall as we can. And we're just going to switch back and forth. So in this move, we're working on that internal and external rotation of those hips, which is really important when we're thinking about squats and lunges and those lower body exercises. The better rotation we have both ways, the better range of motion we're going to have. So we're going to be able to get deeper in those squats and in those lunges. This also helps relieve some of that pain and tension in our hips for doing things even just as simple as walking. We're walking long distances. We don't want to have tight hips, and we want to work on both that internal and external rotation. So we've done the modification before, so if that's not feeling great for us, we can work on those drop to the middle, and then we're moving those feet in and we're working on dropping to the outside. Perfect. Next, we're just going to come to a seating position, and we're going to go into controlled arm circles. So it's our arm circle. We're just going nice and slow and really focusing on keeping that upper body steady, strong, stable, and just rotating our arms. So here we go. So just big, big circles, nice and slow, thinking about that rotation in those shoulders. Awesome. Keep going. So this is a great warm up for those shoulders. Lubricates those joints. And it helps with that overhead mobility. Okay, let's switch directions now. So again, nice and slow and controlled. Watching our posture and alignment here. So we've got that head stacked over our ribs, stacked over our hips, thinking about that snowman. Keep going. Perfect. Next, we're going to do some just roll down. So we're going to work on that spinal mobility, working on lengthening that posterior chain. So we're simply just going to slowly roll down to that forward fold. And then we're going to inhale and slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Feeling that lengthening in those hamstrings. Opening up that back. And then we really want to focus on a slow movement here. So just slowly rolling that up. And then those shoulders back, and then we're gonna go into some hip circles. So we're gonna start with that right foot. Nice and strong core. If you want, today we're really just focusing on that mobility. So grab a chair, something to keep you stable, and we're gonna go into those hip circles here on that right leg. So using that chair or something, because we want to focus more on getting that nice mobility work in instead of keeping that balance. Let's switch directions. Same thing on that leg. Nice big circles here, slow and controlled. Another great warm-up for all those lower body exercises that we do. I'm just holding on my pretend ball here. That is not helping. Almost there. Perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So going to that left leg, just starting that rotation up and over. We'll do a couple more in this direction. And then here we go, other direction, big step over. And we're gonna finish off with some ankle mobility. So I sometimes talk about, sometimes our squats, our mobility, and the depth or range of motion is limited because of ankle mobility. And it's something that I think a lot of people don't really work on. So good to incorporate it into our mobility days, into our warm-ups, and rest. So I think we've done these before. We wanna, maybe not. So if we have a wall, we're gonna put our toe against that wall, and then we're gonna push our knee just right against that wall. We're gonna slowly slide that foot back until we find that perfect spot where our anchor, our foot is out far enough that our knee is just touching that wall. I'm just gonna do this in a kneeling position right now. So you're against that wall, you're feeling that tension. We're working on that mobility in that ankle. So just slowly bringing that foot out a little bit further until you can just touch that wall. Holding that for a few breaths. If you can move that ankle back a little bit and push into that wall a little bit more, see how that feels. And just keep breathing through. Shifting as you feel kind of that tension relieving if you can. Move back a little bit further from the wall. Pressing that knee, just gently tapping that wall. Just so you can just touch it. Last few seconds. I guess I can use this wall, so we'll use my wall back here. Hopefully you can still hear me. So again, lining that toe up against the wall, touching that knee there. If that feels good, okay. If not, we're gonna move that foot back just slightly until we can just touch that wall with that knee. We're feeling that tension in that ankle. Moving it back, increasing that range of motion a little bit when and if we can. Trying to think about keeping that heel planted on the floor. And this is our final move here. Nice deep breath. Finishing off. Hopefully we're feeling a little less tension in our body. Maybe some of those felt extra good after our workouts this week. Almost there. About 10 more seconds we'll hold this for. Keeping those hips nice and square. Awesome. You can roll those ankles out. And that is it for today, guys. We will see you on Monday for our final week of November.